Hello dear students, welcome back to EduHunt video lecture series. And this session is going to be on multiple choice questions based on the concept pteridophytes, bryophytes, gymnosperms and even angiosperms life cycle. Let us see the first question, that is, pteridophytes differ from mosses. Mosses are nothing but bryophytes in possessing. Pteridophytes, they have independent gametophyte, well-developed vascular system, archegonia, and flagellate spermatozoids. So pteridophytes, the name pteridophytes indicates first vascular plants of the plant kingdom. So obviously, well-developed vascular system is present in pteridophytes. This is the major difference between bryophytes and pteridophytes. The second question is, in angiosperms, functional megaspore develops into. We have seen the megaspore mother cell, which is a diploid cell, undergoes a meiotic division, giving rise to 4 haploid megaspores. Out of 4, 3 will degenerate or disintegrate, and the one which is a functional one, and the functional megaspore, the nucleus divides thrice to produce 8 nuclei. It is an 8 nucleate 7 celled structure. ఇది చెప్పగానే మీ మైండ్లోకి ఏం రావాలి? ఫీమేల్ gametophyte, also known as embryo sac. In angiosperms, functional megaspore develops into embryo sac. What is true about male and female gametophyte in plant kingdom? In bryophytes and pteridophytes, they have independent free living existence. About female and male gametophytes. In gymnosperms and angiosperms, they have no independent free living existence. First of all, we should know what is a female gametophyte and what is a male gametophyte. In bryophytes, the dominant phase of the life cycle is definitely a gametophyte. So in some of the plants, some species produce both male and female sex organs on the same gametophyte, that is bisexual or monoecious, and some examples produce male and female reproductive organs, that is antheridia and archegonia, on separate gametophytes. They are called dioecious. For example, Marchantia, male gametophyte is different and a female is different. These are independent. Gametophytes are independent. In gymnosperms and angiosperms, they have no independent free living existence. Yes, because the gametophytes are embedded in the sporophytes. For example, the embryo sac, which is a female gametophyte in angiosperms, that is enclosed, embedded in the ovule. So ovule is the sporophyte which nourishes the gametophyte. That means gametophyte is not an independent one. It depends on the sporophyte. So it is both male and female gametophytes have no independent free living existence. But in bryophytes and pteridophytes, these are independent structures. That is why we can choose the option both 1 and 2. Let us see the fourth option also. In bryophytes, before answering, before bubbling your answer, you have to check all the options carefully. Let us see the fourth option also, whether there is any logic in that option. In bryophytes and pteridophytes and even angiosperms, they have free living life, both male and female gametophytes. They remain in sporangia which are retained on sporophytes. No, because they are embedded in the sporophytes. Sporophyte nourishes the gametophyte. So it's a wrong answer. So the correct answer is both 1 and 2. An important difference between the zoospores and aplanospores is zoospores are uninucleate while aplanospores are binucleate. It's not a correct answer. Zoospores are large while aplanospores are small. This is not about the size. Size is not a differentiating feature here. Zoospores are motile while the aplanospores are non-motile. Yes, zoospores are motile because they have flagella. With the help of that flagella, they swim in water and reach the favorable substratum to germinate. And this is the right answer. The endosperm of gymnosperms is haploid, triploid, diploid, tetraploid. Endosperm, that is, while discussing about the life cycle of an gymnosperm plant, we have mentioned that the cell that is deeply present in the ovule that will differentiate and forms the what we call endosperm in gymnosperms. This is haploid. It forms before the fertilization. It is haploid. Haploid. Endosperm of gymnosperms is haploid and it forms before fertilization. But in case of angiosperms, the endosperm is the resultant of the fertilization, that is formed after fertilization. So, after fertilization, usually we think that after fertilization it is producing, that is why it is diploid. But it is not diploid in angiosperms, it is triploid because the pen or the endosperm, primary endosperm nucleus after division will give rise to the endosperm. This endosperm is triploid in nature. It is because, why it is triploid? Because the secondary cell, already a fusion product, two female cells, the two female nuclei fused, two polar nuclei in the female gametophyte will come to the center, move to the center and fuse to produce a fusion product that is called central cell or the secondary nucleus, which is a diploid one. It is not the fertilization because only the two female nuclei are getting fused, getting combined. But the third nucleus, which is from male side, the male gamete fuses with this already fusion product, that is a diploid one. Now it becomes the triploid pen, primary endosperm nucleus. This primary endosperm nucleus, on further division, it produces the endosperm. That is why in angiosperms, I am telling you about the angiosperms. Angiosperms, it is, endosperm is the fusion product, and it is the resultant after fertilization. It is a triploid one. It is produced after fertilization and it is a triploid one. But in case of gymnosperms, the endosperm is haploid and it is produced before fertilization. So it is a very, very important point that the endosperm of gymnosperms is haploid because it is not involved in fertilization. It is not at all related to the fertilization. When pollen of a flower is transferred to the stigma of another flower of the same plant, transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma, the process is called as pollination. Pollination is nothing but transfer of pollen from anther to the stigma. That is male structures, male what we call male gametes. To the male gametes are carried by the pollen grains only. The male reproductive structures reach the female reproductive structure, that is stigma, that is the receptive part of the pistil or the gynoecium. So when the pollen falls on the stigma, it is called pollination. But when we call it as pollination only when the related species, this transfer occurs between the related species, then only we call it as pollination. Otherwise, the wind may carry several pollen grains. It may carry several pollen grains from X to Y, X to Z, X to A, X to C, like that it may carry. That is, pollen grains of tamarind may fall on pollen grains of mango, but it is not the stigma of mango, but it is not the case. It is not called as pollination because they are not related. Only when they are related, the transfer of pollen grains from one plant to another or from one flower to another, that is called pollination. Pollination occurs in two ways. Let us explain this. Pollination, we know that pollination is of two types: self-pollination and you know well cross-pollination. And self-pollination is called autogamy. And cross-pollination is called allogamy. Self-pollination is called autogamy and the cross-pollination is called allogamy. Self-pollination is nothing but, say for example, it is a flower. So this is the flower with the four different organs: calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. These are the pollen grains releasing from anthers. If they reach the stigma of the same flower, the pollen reaching the stigma of the same flower, then it is called self-pollination or autogamy. Now, cross-pollination. Cross-pollination is okay, these are the flowers A and B. Okay. Okay, these are the two flowers and it is autogamy, it is clear. The pollen from anther of one flower reaching the stigma of the same flower. Here in case of allogamy or cross pollination, the pollen of A is reaching the stigma of B. This is called cross-pollination. Pollen of B is reaching the stigma of A. Then only it is called allogamy. Or some C. Not in the transfer of pollen from one flower to another flower is called cross-pollination. And one condition is these two flowers must belong to the same species. This transfer must occur between the same species. If the transfer occurs between the same species, then only we call it as cross-pollination. Otherwise, it is not at all a pollination. And if this may happen with this flower also. This flower also, if the pollen grains fall on this flower, it is say C. If it falls on this also, it is called cross-pollination because all these are of same type. They belong to the same species. Anyway, if the pollen from one flower reaches the stigma of the same flower, it is called the self-pollination or autogamy. If the pollen from one flower reach the stigma of another flower of the same species, this is very, very important, of the same species, then it is called cross-pollination. Why I am telling so many times? Because cross-pollination is of two types. One is gaetonogamy. Second is xenogamy. Gaetonogamy, xenogamy. These are the two different cross-pollinations. What is gaetonogamy and what is xenogamy? If gaetonogamy is if the two flowers, the pollination occurs between two flowers, that is cross-pollination. If the two flowers are present on the same plant, it is called gaetonogamy. And if they are present on different plants, then it is called xenogamy. Gaetonogamy is the transfer of pollen grains from one flower to another. They are present on the same plant. And the flowers are present on different plants of the same species. Say for example, this is plant 1 and this is plant 2, second plant. Say for example, on plant 1, there are two flowers, A, B. On plant 2, there are two flowers, C and D. If the pollen from A to B or from B to A, if takes place either A to B or B to A, this is called, on the same plant these flowers are present. So it is called gaetonogamy. And xenogamy is the cross-pollination occurs between the flowers of different plants of the same species. That is from C to B or D to B or from C to A or from D to A. Like that, this transfer takes place. If the transfer between the anthers and stigma of the same plant, between A and B, if the transfer occurs between A and B of one, then it is called gaetonogamy. If the transfer of pollen occurs between the different flowers of different plants of the same species. The transfer occurs between mango plants, two mango plants. Then it is also a cross pollination. It is called xenogamy. I hope you have understood. So these are the two different cross pollinations. Self pollination is only one. If the bee pollen grains fall on the bee stigma, or A on A, C on C, D on D, that is called self-pollination. If A on B, B on A, or A on C, A on D, B on C, B on D, B on A on B, like that, if the transfer takes place, that is called cross-pollination. If the cross-pollination happens between two flowers of the same plant, two flowers present on the same plant, then it is called geitonogamy. If the transfer takes place between the two flowers of different plants of the same species, then it is called xenogamy. Remember this. We'll have to answer the question based on the concept only. In the next class, we'll see the remaining questions. Goodbye.